And if we had to commentate a set of Tidal Disruption versus Tidy Titans, I think we would have just cut to nonstop cats for the next 30 minutes while we got this one over with.
Yeah, I really didn't want to talk about Tidy Disruption or anything like that, because that would have been very confusing to have to do. I mean, at that point, we might as well tidy up the room with all the cats running around and knocking things over, as they do.
There's going to be a lot of cat running around when we get to grand finals, but right now we are looking at Roulette taking on Tidal Disruption. And what team here is using the Nautilus with the hands? Walk?
Interesting.
Roulette.
Like the pan?
Yes, I would assume so. Or maybe that's an E at the end with a woke, which is pretty 2024 of them, although the splashdown hands is not something you typically see. However, double ink strike coming out right there with zones with the Octoshot and the splash, so we're going full meta as far as what cap zones is concerned.
Yeah, the aerial bombardment is definitely going to be a problem for them, but I mean, we're just seeing Roulette go down pretty early. A lot of trades all around the board right now, but early on, again, Roulette getting taken out a little bit at a time. They're coming back in now after they've just lost the lead, which is not really that big of a lead. And those tornadoes taking zone just for a second, but long enough for Tidal Disruption to lose that penalty.
What is this weapon? How long has there been a Splatbrella with Inkjet in it? And this is the first time it's ever made an appearance on a low-ink stream. I think it is. Inkjet working out pretty well on this map. You can use it along this left side, get some height, kind of like that old anchovy zones for Splatoon 2. But I don't even know the last time I saw a Splatbrella period in anything, even in solo queue.
Yeah, I wonder, they might be trying to use it to shield against the tornadoes from the ink strikes. I know that's not a game mechanic, but if only it was Nintendo. So PC Pocket 3 kills immediately, doesn't care about Umbrella Shield or nothing, uses that splashdown to solidify the zone here and actually push back Tidal Disruption.
Nautilus is such a good weapon. I mean, it's difficult to use just because pencil, well, pencil makes a lot of things difficult to use, but it's still cool to see when you get somebody who can just start mowing some players down. But right now, it's Roulette in control of the zone, no penalty points. There comes out another Inkzuka Jet variety yet again with some strikes to throw on top of it as well. Finally, the zone's going to be capitalized by Tidal Disruption, but I'm sorry, 50 ink strikes get thrown into the zone by Roulette.
I definitely feel like this is what happened in like the early Great Wars. It's just where you push up a little bit, take a little bit of the enemy's trench, but then there's bombs and explosions all around you, so you just got to back up and wait for the opponents to retreat themselves. But we're seeing Tidal Disruption taking zone, taking a little bit of space. They have that cooler, but they're gonna choose to play a little smart with it, not just rush right in. Rosie getting one, unfortunately gets out in a trade. Walk at least trading out the other guy, and so we're gonna be seeing Tidal Disruption still taking the zone, still pushing out a little bit more, and using those explosive tornadoes to take more space.
Anon taking their time away from 4chan to play in our tournament here, trying to cap the zone into the favor of Roulette, as they're trying to just barely hang on to this lead. Penalty points gone, but one player goes down, but it's still not enough, as the Nautilus being eliminated didn't really factor into the fact that Roulette was able to hold on to the zone anyways. A minute 40 left to go here. Another one of these Inkjets. We've been seeing a lot of these Inkjets, and they've been kind of going along the same route that we've been seeing along that left side. We haven't seen them be very effective at this point, though.
Yeah, not a lot of a variety, but I mean, I guess that's not the important part. The important part is allowing your team to push up while not having to worry about the pencil or the Nautilus. That could be their plan with it, and it seems to be working out pretty much in their favor right now. They're close to that Inkjet. If they don't go down, but they do, they're going to be back fast with that cooler, and a lot of players are going to be back fast with that death spree right there. They're going to lose the zone here, but it's really not that bad. There's the penalty on both sides are around the same. It's not going to be too far to take down, but Roulette's just doing a really good job at holding on at the last minute, waiting for players on the side of Tidal Disruption to get a little antsy and allow themselves to get in before Roulette loses the lead.
if I'm Roulette here with these 40 seconds and I got a 1-point lead, I'm just trying to hang on. I'm just bombarding the zone with these strikes. You got these double strike comp. Might as well just keep spacing them out and just keep flipping the zone back to your favor. Keep resetting the penalty points that are being put onto Tidal Disruption. It looks like they're able to do just that with 20 seconds left to go. I would have that splash. Just hang back. You get some strikes. Let's just GG this thing. Let's force Tidal Disruption to play into us right here. Having to use this Inkjet really early on their own side of the map. It's going to chase a player around, but it's not going to open up this way for them to get back into the zone. And there's those Ink Strikes ready to be deployed immediately. Maybe got sent out a little bit too early. Yes. Ooh. As the Link Strikes from the other side go and cap the zone. Now they're not going to have strikes ready to go. The Nautilus goes down as well as the Octo Shot. So now it's just up to the Splash. Can they get those strikes yet again? They go down. It's just a pencil. Oh, the defense does not hold for Roulette, and Tidal Disruption is just seconds away from getting rid of their penalty points. Rosie pushing up a little bit too much, but able to trade out with the Nautilus, and here comes this Inkjet trying to just body block players away from the zone. No strikes in sight. Gonna have to be used early in front of the zone and not on it. Can they still hold on to this one though? Splash down into the zone. Did Roulette win that one?
I think they did. The zone's blue. Oh no, they were just so close to taking that lead. Roulette did a really good job. I mean, even though they were going down, they at least made some sort of effort to use specials to get in. Those strikes, we thought they were early, but I wonder if it was pre-planned so that they would at least have a smoke screen to get that splashdown in.
When it comes down to those last little moments, it's just so hard to make the right plays with the right exact timing, but somehow Roulette able to throw hands onto the zone. It was such a great back and forth. What a great game for a best of 3 set. So Roulette now 1 game away from punching their tickets to losers finals, as they're able to weather the storm and just hold on just enough being thrown into the zone right there. Rosie right here pushing up, able to trade, but I don't think it ended up being a trade because it looked, wait, no, both players had soda in them, so that it amounted to nothing anyway, so what do I know?
The only thing it did was remove that soda effect from both of them. But still, really good plays on the side of Tidal Disruption. This isn't like a one and done. This set's already decided. I think depending on what they choose for this next counter pick, they might actually have a chance to turn this around and at least put Roulette somewhat on a RNG spin.
To the person who said I was wrong, first off, you're using the wrong version of your. You want to go with the UR apostrophe. And also, December 2023, the Inkjet Brella won Long Link. Well, that was at least 6 years ago. Who's supposed to remember that? Clan Blitz at Crab Leg Capital is the counter pick coming out here with game 2. Again, this is a best of 3 set because these are a couple of loser teams looking to shed that loser tag and move on to grand finals. But Roulette barely able to hang on here. I wonder if they're going to drop the Ink Strikes now, if that was just like a one-time kind of thing for that zone in particular, or if they got like a plan B. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think that would make sense to drop both the strikes because, I mean, they're good on zones, they're good on haggle, but on Crab Leg, I feel like you've at least got to take control of the sides a little bit, and having a special dedicated to do that at any point would be nice. I just don't think that strikes are that special.
Here we go. Match point already. We just got on the mic. Tidal Disruption trying to tie up this set 1 apiece. Rosie has 5-star on every variant of the splatter shot, the vanilla splatter shot, all 3 badges on display there. And there is an ink brush. There was somebody in the low ink pre-show yesterday calling for ink brushes to be banned from tournaments. We denied that because that's kind of a cringe thing to say, but here it is in round 5 of losers bracket, anew using the vanilla ink brush with Killer Whale.
Yeah, and trying to make at least a point to possibly get it banned. Unfortunately, getting taken out by the entire ranged opponents, and that range blaster coming in pretty clutch, getting another pick. Rosie trying to at least push up and paint the ground for their team to advance. Not really able to get any kills, but did the goal of painting really well. Anon just making sure that the opposing team can't get any way into mid and have to stay on their plat here.
Yes, the traditional pencil gameplay. I control mid. Nobody can do anything as long as I hit at least a couple of my shots. But here comes the Brush trying to flank around the backside. Right? Yes. Oh, yeah, they're going to the enemy basket. Swerving around, missing the shots is Anon, and getting caught up on the follow-through as they try to retreat. The doors open up for Roulette early.
Yeah, and unfortunately one player already went down to a bomb there. Another player going down to the range blaster. And I don't think was able to get a clam in, but that's going to be 3 down on the side of Roulette. They at least have some points on the board, but they do have to come back all the way from base because they've given up all of mid due to those deaths.
And that's the frustrating thing about fighting against the Brush and Clan Blitz. Anon had control of mid, but the Brush is just so slippery. If you can't hit the shots on it, then it can just go wherever it wants. And then all of a sudden you have to turn your back away from mid, and that's when you get splatted on top of it. So as long as that Brush is in action, Tidal Disruption is going to be the team that is disrupted and having to find ways to break through. But now they're pushed up yet again, got everybody on the side of Roulette boxed into their map. Here comes Anon with the soda and the power clam. Going to be taking the upper route, going to draw some attention up top here. That should open up the door for the ink strikes to land, and the rest of Tidal Disruption to attack the basket and get the lead here. Yes, but they lose a lot of players in the process.
Yeah, I don't think that was worth it in the end. I guess we'll see here in a minute, but they've given up all of mid because of that push. They at least have some safety net. Unfortunately, though, I think if all of Roulette throws at least one clam in after the power play, they take the lead there. That's not what they're worried about right now, though. They're just trying to hold zone as the Zupa's coming out on side of Tidal Disruption. And you're trying to at least make them in a good spot, so if they get the opportunity, they can push up and at least get in the base of Tidal Disruption. One player already in there, though.
I thought you were going to say it will work unless all of Roulette throws. And then, I thought that's what it looked like. That's kind of what they were doing slightly, because they were overextending a little bit, feeding into the players that had spawned just back in for Tidal Disruption and going down one apiece. They have control of zone now, or at least mid, and have the man advantage though. But yeah, it looked like they were playing a little bit too aggressive early on, now just having to dodge the crack.
Yeah, and you're getting out with their life, able to back up with someone else pushing them back. A bunch of bombs and explosives coming out, and you finally able to throw a clam into the basket. And yeah, we just need one more to get the lead. And it seems like this is how this game is going to be. Lead just swapping by one clam each time. Orca's saying no, at least give some more points. But again, everyone is just dying on either side whenever they make a push pop gun.
What is the... I don't see what the point of that was. You didn't even have soda. Yeah, if you go in there, you're down to 50 remaining as opposed to 53. Why not just back up, stay alive, build up some of your specials, and hold mid? It seems like blowing teams are so hyper-focused on throwing in one more clam when it does absolutely nothing for you. Now, 1 minute remaining, though. Roulette is back into a defensive position. Woke is waking up and starting to mow some players down. Gets canceled, but the hands still land regardless. Tidal Disruption trying to force a game 5. They're using this Kraken defensively, though. Or is this is this Roulette side of the map? It looks like it is. So they are trying to open up some space here, and they got some time and points to work with.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting the Kraken to, once it was over, to already be under the basket for a jump in, but they decided to back up and maybe save their life. Maybe they're taking our advice a little bit, trying to not just sacrifice everything for that lead, as another player unfortunately goes down to a perfectly rolled bomb by Anu. They're just trying to push up and allow for their team to take advantage of their position, and they seem to be doing really well. Woke is in a really good spot, just holding mid, and if they really want to, they could. They could end it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Tidal Disruption burned their Mercy Clam at some point. I was about to say, and I was wondering why they were dive bobbing on that one on the grate, because they needed that to force overtime.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they might have accidentally thought they had that opening up there, and then when they got taken out, started rushing out of panic mode.
So Roulette takes the 2-0. Tidal Disruption's going to be clocking out at 4th place in this low ink. Not too shabby, but just couldn't really get anything established and kind of fumbled away the end right there. Roulette looked like the more disruptive team in the end.
Yeah, they definitely did. They were disrupting every single part of that title. And fortunately for them, they're going to be going on to this third place match against Royalty, who we had just seen not too long ago playing in the winners finals. They kind of had a similar fate as Tidal Disruption did just now. They were playing pretty well, and they just never were able to find the final answer to the problem in order to go on to grand finals. But they do have a shot at it, Popgun, to take it back and possibly even take the